This is the news in 19 September 2025 about the agent how China become a wedge between two South Pacific neighbors. Every year, tours of thousands of tourists visit the pristine beaches and turquoise lagoons of the Cook Islands in the South Pacific. Their business substance, this small nation of 15 islands and isles, where no building is taller than a coconut tree. Most travelers come from New Zealand, the Cook Islands, farmer, colonial rulers, and two have long had close ties. But in recent months, they have been docked in an icy standoff. The fallout was over a wide-range partnership agreement the Cook Islands signed this year with China. The deal, viewed as the largest sign of China's encroachment in the region, has alarmed New Zealand. New Zealand has put on hold millions of dollars in aid, leaving a hole in the Cook Island budget. Prime Minister Mark Brown of the Cook Islands has threatened to go somewhere else for his country's infrastructure needs. There have been accusations of New Zealand using aid as a bargaining chip, and real protests in Rarotonga, the main island, by people concerned about jeopardizing ties with New Zealand. Even after the two countries' leaders met face-to-face last week at a negotiation forum, there has been no sign of a breakthrough. It was a serious change when they entered those arrangements with China, and we know nothing of it, New Zealand's Foreign Minister Winston Peters said in an interview last month. New Zealand argues that the Cook Islands was obligated to consult with it before signing the deal, and says there will be no new aid until steps are taken to repair the relationship and restore trust. Mr. Brown has pointed out that New Zealand signed its own partnership agreement with China in 2014 without consulting the Cook Islands, reaping tens of billions of dollars in economic gain. But in the decades since the agreement, New Zealand has grown increasingly wary of China's intentions in its vicinity. It has watched as China used coercive trade measures to hamstring Australia's economy, test fire an intercontinental ballistic missile into Pacific, and sent a naval task force into the waters between Australia and New Zealand to carry out deep-fire drills. Mr. Peters said that China's deal with the Cook Islands fits a certain recent developmental pattern of Beijing ambitions in the region. Diplomats from the Cook Islands and New Zealand were working their way through the formal agreement with China to work out points of concern, New Zealand officials said. The port's funding was 18.2 million New Zealand dollars, or about $11 million, was for health, education, and tourism. A separate $60 million in aid for cybersecurity is still being provided, according to New Zealand's Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Trade. Analysis said that the pause in aid was an extraordinary move by New Zealand. It is a difficult task from Australia, which has dramatically increased aid spending in the region. Since 1965, the Cook Islands have been self-governing, but relies on New Zealand for defense. Cook Islands hold New Zealand passports, and the majority of them, nearly 85,000, live in New Zealand. The parameters of their relationships are being tested as China has deepened its presence in the Pacific. In 2022, China signed a security agreement with the Solomon Islands, another small Pacific nation, heightening fears that Beijing was aiming to establish a military foothold in the region. Both Chinese and Cook Islands officials have said that their pact does not include security or military matters. New Zealand's intelligence chief, in a speech earlier this year, warned that China's ambitions in making inroads into the Pacific was to link economic and security cooperation, create competing regional architectures. China's embassy in Wellington called his comments disinformation, saying there is no secret agenda to the Cook Island Agreement. David Carpi, director of the Center for Strategic Studies at Victoria University of Wellington, said it was clear that New Zealand's objections had to do with Beijing signing increased military ambitions in the region. In a different strategic context that was fine with different partners, there was probably fine, he said. The strategic context has changed. The Cook Islands, one of the smallest of the Pacific Island nations, had also been a focal point of emerging competition over seabed mining. The agreement with China included pledge to cooperate on exploring seabed minerals. The United States last month reached its own deal with the Cook Islands on mining the sea floor. Rosnia Kumar, editor of Cook Island News, which broke the news of New Zealand's founding port, said that, like other small Pacific Island nations with developmental challenges and climate change risks, his country needed support wherever it could get it. All around Abra, the capital, are physical reminders of this. The courthouse, the police headquarters, and the national stadium, each built by China. The feeling is there that China has helped us in some areas, and we are grateful for that, he said, but the general concern is we should be careful who we partner with. Thanks for listening. Have a good day.